Yo, Dime Magazine, here we are, man, once again. Look who we are with. This man needs no explanation. He don't need no introduction, ever mentioning his name, because everyone knows his name worldwide. Real talk, man. From basketball, okay, to drawing, okay, to being an activist, to caring about people, to really just being that man that he is, a gentle giant, man. For all y'all who don't know who he is, this is y'all's friend, my family, our family, Q Randall. What's going on, man?
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for the introduction.
Hey, it has to happen, man. It needed to happen. Look who you are, bro.
I feel too important now. Thank you.
Hey, no, bro. You are very important. You are very important, you know, and you know, I say that because it ain't even just about our history. It's about, you know, the history that you continue to leave as far as your legacy. You know what I mean? Like, what I want to really do, bro, is like, I really want to, you know, just go back, you know, if that's okay with you, with, you know, talking about your humble beginnings. You know, what made you want to deal with, you know, basketball? Now, obviously, we're going to get into the book. We're going to get into everything that you do. But all that had to stem from somewhere, you know. Let's talk about it.
I think you said the basketball first, right? Well, the thing is, when I moved here from Philadelphia, we moved to Boston.
Well, period. Just lay it down. Lay it all down.
Yeah, so we moved here we had a complicated background, history, living in Philadelphia, New Jersey. Dealt with like racism and all this stuff that happened. We eventually moved to Boston. And what happened was my mom was raising 5 kids by herself. You know, it wasn't easy. And we saw her struggles. And one day, she made sure that we stayed productive as much as possible. But at the same time, sometimes we had to entertain ourselves. And one day, I started playing basketball. Soccer was my first love.
Really?
And basketball became another love because one day walking through this random alley, I met this one gentleman. He was a janitor. And he looked at me. He said, "Hey, you." And I looked at him like, what can I do for you? And me being polite, you know.
Now, how old were you at this time?
And I was like maybe like 11 or 12. And but he was already in Boston for a period of time. So, but we moved a few times from Dorchester, and then moved to the South End. And this one janitor, cool brother. He had a son. He had 2 sons and his wife, and he was like another father figure for me. And he saw me walk down his alley. He said, "Hey, do you know how to play basketball? You want to play for a basketball team?" I'm like, sure. You gotta talk to my mom first, because you know.
Yo, that's respect.
Yo, you can't. I can't just jump on without my mom's permission. So he said, "Sure." So he said, "Just let me know when a good time to meet your mom." So I told my mom about this guy, and I came back and rang his doorbell and gave her time to meet my mom. And my mom put some rules down.
Listen, for all y'all, we're going to address this later. His mother was the best, period. We're going to keep going, brother.
Amazing woman, you know,
yes,
regardless of what she wasn't good at, she was great as caring, loving people, you know what I'm saying? So what happened was, he met with my mom, and my mom told him certain things that she wanted for my life, and she wanted me being like this, a safe environment where I can enjoy myself and be a kid. And he was just really supportive, you know. And this is a janitor who took time out of his day to like pull kids from the streets, from various walks, different areas pulled together.
But you know what's funny though? Like, some people would look at that like to say like, "Oh, he's a janitor. He don't know what he's talking about," or this and that, not really understanding his background. You know what I mean? Like, and that, to me, that sounds like a godsend, if you got to be honest.
The thing is, so in my life, we were lacking father figures. So for me, I tell every coach, every person, man in leadership that helps a kid, you are seen as a father figure, if you like it or not. You know, so. Well,
especially when you take on other women's children.
Exactly. You don't know, because you don't know their history, where they come from, and what these kids are going through. A lot of kids deal with abandonment issues and a lot of mental health issues, which, you know, I definitely support people in getting the resources they need. But the biggest thing is my mom, when she was talking to the gentleman, his name is Gilbert. The guy just came in and just showed he was compassionate about helping kids.
That sounds like a janitor name.
But the thing is,
I had to say that. I'm sorry, but there's comedy to this too. But it's all love at the end of the day. But Gilbert, shout out to you, man. You know, hey,
he had a laugh that you couldn't like. Some people laugh in here. Yes, he has a laugh that just gets your attention. But he was one of the guys where he didn't have basketball experience. The guy had a history. His history was completely different opposite from being a basketball coach. But the thing is, he had enough courage to be like, you know what? I may not be a professional athlete or know the game, but I know enough to keep kids busy.
He has integrity.
And the thing is, we learned so much from this guy, just from like time management, being a team, resilience, being a man of your word. All these things, like, you don't understand that you learn from sports. And he changed my life to this day. And you know, I'll tell anybody, you have a coach or someone who changed your life at some point, make sure they know they change your life before the time's up. Because I can't stand giving someone their flowers when they're gone. It makes no sense to me. So he was one of many guys who changed my life. Like, he was one of many men and women who changed my life in the area of basketball. And we started playing for the team was called the Pistons. We played for BNBL.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah.
And eventually, I wasn't that good. I wasn't good at all. Believe me, I wasn't good.
I mean, that's kind of hard to believe, you know, for somebody that played with him. This man was nasty. They called him Baby Dr. J.
Yeah, in college they called me Rodman. So, but I just didn't dominate.
Hold on, those are the complete opposites. but that means something on a larger scale.
Yeah, my thing is, you do what the team's needed, what the team needs you to do. But at the end of the day, what happened was, when I talked, like, Gilbert just took me to a whole nother level because I didn't know anything about the game. And then he showed me drills, and I would spend days. Like, you're a kid. I had nothing to do. So I spent hours, I'm talking about in the sun, hot sun, where I would do freeze bottles of water, like two liter bottles of, like, the soda bottles. I'll fill it with water and freeze it and be outside doing drills. By the time I'm done, it's water, so I start drinking it. That's how I determined how hard I was working. And other kids would see that, and then he started recruiting other kids who were just like hungry to play. And this is why I give a shout out to Les Brown, because I listen to his motivational speaking now.
Oh, Les Brown is major.
Amazing. And when I think about my childhood, a lot of that stuff, I wish I heard him during my childhood, but I hear him as an adult, and it applies. So myself and other guys that Gilbert, the gentleman who's a janitor who brought these other guys through, they were hungry too. And the thing is, basketball helps create a part of your identity.
It actually does.
It does. So my thing is, but what I learned as I grew up to be a man is that you're a man, but you have all these components to you. So you have a basketball player, like I dance, I'm an artist, I sing, so there's all these things that add to you.
You're multi-talented.
Exactly. But the thing is, your gifts open doors for you. So I'll tell anybody, no matter how few gifts you have, or if you have a lot, explore the possibilities. Because if I didn't explore the possibility of playing basketball, y'all wouldn't. Most people never met me.
You're absolutely right. Because remember what you just said. You said your first love was soccer. So just imagine if you kept just the soccer alone.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have known you for basketball. So my next question to you is what made you want to, really take basketball to the next level?
I think like most athletes who come from like poverty and everything else, who come from a hard beginning, they see people play on TV who look like them, who make a lot of money and making life better for their family. So I thought it was one of the ways I can change my family's direction if I became one of the top players, like most people. Most people in the inner city who has some type of ability.
And bro, you were nasty. Like, you were sick with it, bro.
But I appreciate that. But the thing is, I grew into it. That's what people understand. Like, I think you find people have a talent, but my talent didn't show right away. I was garbage. I'll be honest. But my determination to learn something and my resilience made it to a point where I'm at the park 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm at the park at what 12 midnight, 1 o'clock, and what people don't understand, like, people talk. I'm gonna be honest about something. Like,
oh no, please be honest.
People talk back. Like, listen, I know, selling drugs is not the thing to do, but in the inner city, some of the local drug dealers was my biggest supporters. When
There's nothing wrong with
I
that.
say that, people see them as bad people. A lot more, they're trying to make a living for themselves. And I understand it's harsh and it's complicated. But when he saw a kid who was 12, 13 years old in the park doing dribbling drills at Peters Park, lights off, completely dark. This one cat, never won't mention his name. I'm in the dark. And I couldn't see nothing. My eyes was jesting, doing drills, shooting. How I knew I made the shot, I heard the net go. Pew didn't like kids being out there that late, and I was so late. And a dude drove up with some of his friends. He said, because back then they didn't call me Q, they called me Key. Of course, yeah. They're like, Key, is that you? I'm like,
Oh, I know. Yeah.
yeah, you know, they say, yo, is that you? I'm like, yeah. He said, man. He said, how long you been out here? I said 5 hours. He said 5 hours.
In the dark.
In the dark. You know what I'm saying? Like going in gradually into the dark. He was like, this is what I'm gonna do. He said, I'm gonna have one of my guys stay here with you. He turned on his car lights. Okay? He said, stay here as long as you need to. No one's gonna bother you. He said, but when you're ready to go home, you let my guy know. You're not gonna get in the car. He's gonna make sure you get home safely and go. That's one of many, many moments in my life that really made me feel like, you know what? I said, when people see how hard and passionate you are and how resilient you are, I don't care what walk of life they come from, they want to support you.
You know, it's pick up what he's putting down, you guys, because at the end of the day, it's all about, you know, your passion, your dedication, and what you believe in. And when you got the right people around you, just keep in mind that, you know, God will put the right people around you without you even knowing, at least at that point in time. But long story short, man, this dude, please elaborate more on that.
I'll say this, anybody can increase you if you want to increase yourself. And when I say that, it's like, if you have a gift of talent and you're willing to push forward and develop that skill, people recognize hard work. People are attracted to hard work. Now, you're going to have people who are attracted to hard work for different reasons. They may see your potential to most likely use you, support you, or they're just a spectator to get the how you call it? I'll say it, the echo of your success. Because some people don't want to contribute to your success. They want to just benefit from it. You know?
Be there to celebrate.
Yeah, so my thing is, regardless if you don't know, even when you're playing basketball, what I realized what made me different is that everyone had their uniqueness about it. And wherever you're willing to do, if you're not willing to explore the possibility or the creativity of the possibilities, you won't be able to stand out, because it's not about fitting in all the time.
No, it's not.
You may fit in the beginning to learn the basic foundation, but then once you get to foundation, it's your job to create something different. Like I tell people, like when I teach dance classes, for example, if I teach you a dance move, your job as someone I'm teaching the dance move to is to embrace the dance move I'm teaching you, and then to make it yours. Now, you can tell that it comes from me because how I dance, but it's supposed to be, you're supposed to conform and make it yours.
Of course, right. Put your own twist to it.
I think a lot of people, we live in society now when people don't do that. They just take what people have and duplicate it and not make it theirs.
Well, that's been going on for years, though. Yeah. But remember, the ones who do succeed are the ones who are original. You know what I mean?
The rest.
Yeah. You said it, you know. And I'm glad you said that, because that brings me to my next question with you. You know, like, now you're playing ball, you know, you're doing your thing, you know, you went from high school, you know, to college to where now, you know, you're playing pro. You know, at the same time, you still were able to hold your inner self, your inner being, who you are. You know what I mean? Like, how are you able to do that?
My thing is, when you're competing in a sport, it's about, you understand, it's about dominance. It's about your will being more dominant than someone else's will. You have to be in tune yourself. And you may not know who you are completely, but you need to have a basic foundation of yourself. You know, because if not, I think anyone could talk trash to you and you get off centered. Because let's be honest, if I can get in your head talking trash as far as basketball, and I get to you, you're done.
Everything else in life, yeah, like you said.
Yeah, no matter how talented you are, no matter how in shape you are, if I can get into your head, that means you don't know yourself.
So now that you said that, let's go back to, first off, I want, everybody to know, as far as like the schools you went to, how it was, your first stop, was George Mason. How was that, being at George Mason? You guys made the big dance and all that good stuff.
That was a complicated moment in my life, man. Because you understand, like, there's so many things led up to that moment where I was excited because I was looking at, I think Seton Hall was looking at me, Syracuse, Indiana, a few big schools, and then, but I signed to George Mason.
What made you sign to George Mason?
So my thing is, I had because UCLA was looking at me, and the thing is, I knew some of the players there, and the thing is, when you're playing at that next level, they have local talent, and then you're the talent coming in. And my thing is, you understand, the local talent might get more love than you because they're local. They have a name for themselves. So that's a fight that you have to see if you want to. If that's a battle you can win.
Now, do you think that's because of Ed O'Bannon?
Well, doing that.
No, shout out to the O'Bannon brothers, but
no. So I forgot who was there during that time. He was like a 2-3, and like I said, when I played for Thayer, we played in Canada, and he was one of the players there. And I'm like, they had two big players going over there. I'm like, you know what? We're gonna be fighting for the same position, and he's from there, so it makes no sense for me to compete for that. And then George Mason made such a big spectacle of me coming there. And the coach made me feel, regardless of where we went afterwards, but the coach made me feel like, okay, this is a team environment. Because my thing at the end of the day, family always resonated with me. And my thing is, but why I
it's still that way to this day.
Of course. Yeah. But my thing is, but the biggest thing I learned is like, okay, when people say they're family, the question is, what kind of family do they have? I tell any kid that if you're trying to find a team to play for, how do you define family, and how do they reflect it? And regardless of how I felt about George Mason and the coach and everything else, a lot of players supported me in so many ways where I felt I wasn't dealt fairly. But regardless of how I felt about the coach and the coaching staff, they ran a sound program. It was about organization, time management, and they were very consistent. So regardless of how, if I didn't enjoy or didn't like them, it doesn't matter. I learned a lot about structure, which carried over into my life now being a coach and training myself. So, but George Mason was a big challenge because at first you made NCAA tournament, and that game was crazy. I was excited because my thing is, for me,
You was playing in front of the home crowd.
Yeah, I was in Boston, and the hardest part for me is that people don't understand about athletes, what they go through. There could be awkward relationships with coaches and players and so forth, and it impacts the game. You could be the most dominant player on a team or do well in practice, but the coach had the ability to have you miss opportunities. And during that time, me and the coach wasn't getting along too well for whatever reason that was. I'm not going to that. And I didn't think he was going to play me during the NCAA tournament, so I stopped practicing.
Oh, nah, you got burned, bro.
Yeah, but because
the whole world saw you play.
Because I was back home, it only made sense.
Right.
But
but come on, think about it. Even though you're back home, let's just put it out there on Front Street. Even though you're from here, right, and it just so happens the NCAA tournament, the big dance, happens to be in your hometown. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. That coach would be like, hey, listen, man, I know you from here, and you'll get all the highlights as far as you off the court. But for some odd reason, however, you guys, I'm speaking from the outside looking in now. Yeah. It was a whole thing like it was to say, damn, Q's out there. Q's getting it. He's getting burned. You feel me? Like, it changes the dynamics at that point.
I thought I wasn't going to play with the interaction. I have the coach for previous tournaments. I think it was in a tournament in D.C. And how he handled things, he didn't play me at all. So I assumed that when NCAA tournament came, he was gonna, because don't get me wrong, he knows the game, but at the same time he had a stubbornness about him, and we had a little bit of a conflict in some ways because I wasn't a yes man. My mom raised me to have a backbone and question things. I don't think the coach liked that too much, but I was never disrespectful. And I told anyone, when you're looking for a coach, and like I said, I'm not talking bad about the coach of George Mason, I'm just saying in general. If you're looking for a coach, make sure the coach is not stubborn and stuck in his ways. Because there's times where I had to go beyond myself, where I felt like it wasn't me. I had players come to me saying, came to me like, Coach, Q, I don't know what it is, man. You got to transfer because this coach is not like, yo, you need be playing Atlantic 10.
I'm laughing, but he's telling his story, but it reminds me of my high school coach. I ain't gonna put, y'all know. Hey, I ain't gonna put him on blast, but much respect to him. But oh my God! But what you were feeling, that's how I felt. You know the story, but anyways, yeah. So I could totally relate.
Yeah. But my thing is, it was tough because for me, my teammates knew how hard I worked, and we had this thing called the green team. That was the backup team, and we would and Coach Derek Kellogg. Big shout out to Coach Derek Kellogg, man. He was a great assistant coach. He kept guys motivated. He competed against us.
Do you guys still keep in touch?
I haven't stayed in touch with him in a while. Last time I checked, he was coaching at UMass, and then he was coaching at Memphis. Great guy, great coach. I'm talking about, if he's one of them guys who loved underdogs, and when he talked to you, he didn't bullshit you. He was straightforward, and that's why I appreciate. But when I was going through at George Mason.
Wait a minute, you just swore. So now, no holds barred.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm saying it's okay. I feel pretty great.
Say that again. No, yo, we're gonna have to do it. No, we're keeping this footage.
But I think what people understand is
Dime Magazine.
The thing that happens, like with sports, you don't see what goes behind the closed doors and practice and everything else. And I went through a lot of stuff. I went through a moment that was kind of like, it was intense for me with one coach. And it felt like it was it felt me going through so much racism as a young kid, where the coach tried to make me feel dumb. Now, even though that may not have been his intentions, but it's to the point where me being a freshman, he did his graph in front of me. And like I said, I'm sure he's a good guy. You know what I'm saying? But I think his approach wasn't on point.
Does he still coach?
I'm sure he is. I would never say his name because I want people to do well. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone make mistakes, and some people just aren't aware. Especially you don't grow in certain environments, you don't have to understand it.
Wait a minute, that might be kind of hard now, and the reasons why is because you already mentioned that the school.
It's okay, but there's more than one coach, so I didn't say.
All right, makes sense.
I didn't say head coach, assistant coach. Makes
sense.
But
shout out to George Mason, all of them.
Definitely. And regardless of the coaching staff, like, when you met with them, they had good qualities about them, but everybody has flaws about them, And then they get paid to win. Let's be honest. So at the end of the day,
it's a business.
So one thing about being a college athlete, either you end up loving it more or hating it. And at the end of my basketball career, I didn't want to play for like another 2-3 years, and then got back into it playing semi-pro because my little brother, who's disabled, and I was pushed around in a wheelchair, and this one guy's like, "Q, you still play ball?" I said, "Bro, my jersey was in the back of my closet, covered up. I didn't touch a ball for almost 3 years." And the only reason I got back into it because I had my little brother pushing him in his wheelchair, and the guy saw me, and my little brother was excited. When I said basketball, he looked at me, and I was taking care of my little brother for a period of time. I left school because I got tired of my mom and them struggling, so I just left school. And then during this guy had a basketball league. You get a chance to play in Europe or be seen by teams in Europe or the NBDL. And I played, and my little brother was there, and he was excited. Every time I played, my little brother in the wheelchair, I had someone watch him. He would hop on the court. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I knew my little brother loved watching me play. And my love came back, not because...
Man, y'all was at the hip, man.
Yeah. Took care of him, and everything else. And
sure did.
Yeah. And seeing him enjoy watching me play just made just built a fire again. And the next thing you know, I had an opportunity to try out for the... It was a coach who worked for the Portland Trailblazers, but it was a D League in Huntsville, Alabama. It's called the Huntsville Flight. That was my first opportunity where I got back into considering playing professionally again. So my thing is, I'll tell anybody that's here, regardless of what you're going through, be aware of your surroundings.
Of course. Now you're talking. Yeah.
Yo, because the people in your life will like, honestly, I believe people are in your life to put you in the direction where you're going or help you recognize where you're supposed to be. Because my little brother, he wasn't there with me. I wouldn't have picked up a basketball. I didn't care about basketball no more. I didn't love it no more. And to see my little brother happy, see me play, made me want to pick a basketball. Then the love came back. So my thing is, someone else could come into your life and bring a love, to reignite a love in your life that you never had, or you thought you lost. And from there, I just went on, kept on playing, competing, man. You know?
And one thing I love that, because again, you go from college, you go to playing in the pros, you go, you're just laying it down. You're killing people out there. You're doing your thing out there, right? And you've always had this entrepreneurial mind about you. Like your visual was always your outlook. It was always like you had like tunnel vision. You know what I mean? Like, what made you want to get into, doing just entrepreneurship, period, and then the whole thing you got going on now? But what made you want to like take that entrepreneurship, that way of thinking, and like really prosper at it? Because remember, you had the basketball clinics and all that.
Well, I saw people who benefited from me more than I benefited from myself. I saw owners of teams, how they carried themselves. I'm like, that's something. I feel that position I need to have. And I saw people who didn't care about the other people they impacted. They just want to make their money. And I didn't want to fall in that category. So, and then me being so gifted, one thing I tell people, if you're a creative soul, there's always a place for you to make money. There's always a place you live without being in the structure or working for a corporation. Now, you find a corporation that respects you, honor you, and everything else, that's great. But like we said something earlier,
What, the corporate pimping? That part?
The part is,
corporate pimping.
listen,
If they don't respect you, it's called corporate pimping.
I'll say this, and we said this before. We said this recently. People look out for their people, and sometimes you understand in the corporate field, you're not their people.
Of course. No, you're not.
So they're not looking out for you. Yeah. So my thing is, create your own tribe, your own unit, to make things happen for you, because there's enough resources out there to make it happen, but you got to find the right people who's not going to waste your time and waste their time.
I agree.
And share a common vision. And for me, I'm sorry, like I realized, especially being in the mental health field, working for people so long, you're always going to be underpaid and undervalued.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget
And overworked. Yes, and overworked.
Especially being black or being brown or being all of that. And it's the truth, hey, we can't hide the truth, but regardless of the fact, moving forward, now that you are in, you're an entrepreneur, but you're also still dealing with corporate America. You know what I mean? Like, how are you able to decipher the two while at the same time keeping the two separate?
Yes.
Well, I stepped away from corporate. I worked in mental health field over a decade. So I did various things as far as being a residential counselor, assistant director at a residential home for young boys, a reentry director, from men transitioning from prison back into society. So I did so many jobs, and I work hard for all these companies, and I realized that they'll boast about how much money they made this year and this and that, but it doesn't support me or the staff. And I got tired of that. So for me, I said, let me do something that's going to bring me money and create myself a unit of people who are appreciated, who want to help, who's passionate about what they do, and paying well for what they do.
Generously.
But that's what it is. So, but the thing is, once again, you have to understand that I'm sure there might be some nice corporations, but in the mental health field, across the board, it's consistent how people are treated. And me being in a position of leadership, to be that middle ground, it was complicated because you saw where the corporation wanted to go.
Well, can I ask you a question? Like, what you just said, like it brought me, as I'm listening to you talk about the corporate, right? It brought me back to when you were in college, and you mentioned going to UCLA, and they're gonna pick the locals.
Oh yeah.
There's you see the bridge with playing or visiting UCLA versus now you're dealing with corporate America. Like it ties in. It ties in.
What's the correlation?
I think, how can I say this? Okay, I won't have a Gandhi moment and stuff. And stuff. I think, you know, and yeah. So let me stop. So, my thing is when you start my thing is people in a corrupt or broken program that thrives off of mishandling people. The people who succeed the most are the ones who support the corruption.
Whoa.
That's deep. That is deep.
That's
That part.
So when you deal with people who will be elevated because they support the corruption, the people who get paid less, who put the most time in, will never be appreciated, valued. And the thing is, they have to work 2-3 jobs just to stay afloat. And if you're in the business of caring for people, supporting people, how can you underpay your staff? That's my biggest thing.
Corporate pimping.
Yeah, so you can tell me you work with kids who deal with mental health issues or whatever, and you brag about making $5, $6, $7 million, and you tell the whole staff that, but how does it support them? It was one organization I work for. Excuse me, I'm stuttering about that one. And this is the only organization I ever met in my life that helped. That
truly helped.
I mean, they helped their staff buy a house.
Do you want to shout them out?
I'm not going to do it to them because I talked to this. I don't want to put them out like that because it was such a beautiful act.
Oh, I get it.
And it was to the point where they supported their staff to a point where, okay, we understand because their staff gave so much to them, they helped them buy their first house. They gave them an advance of $10,000 to go towards their first house.
Hey, I wish Q would say the name because I need. Yeah, listen.
I understand y'all want to say names, but I'm not going because out of respect the conversation we have, I'm big off respect.
No.
So my thing is for me that as I grow,
I still got to pull your card because our viewers and listeners they're acquiring minds. They want to know.
Well.
I love this interview. This is the best interview that we've had. Listen, you sure you don't want to say it? Yo, that's the team back there, right? Don't we all want to know, guys? No.
That's the hero support right there. Hero support.
No. You know what? No, all jokes aside, we gotta respect it. If you don't want to call the names out, it's cool, but that'll help. hey, so who is it? Mr. Jefferson?
No.
Him and his wife.
One thing.
Shout out to them.
We ain't telling.
Yeah, we're not going to tell. Like, end of the day, they knew who they are, and they did it out of kindness of heart that matters the most. I think this is one thing I tell people.
Hold on, can we get that home one more time for them? Hey, yo, thank y'all for looking out for my boy, our boy, whoever your name is. We're just gonna call y'all John Doe and John Dane. Oh, how's it going? Hey, one more time. It's for you, bro. Shout out to them. Shout out, whatever your name is. Yo, shout out. But man. Nah, but we had to show love. Hey, everybody we interviewed, they gotta get love, you know. But get back to them though. Shout out to y'all though. Shout out to y'all.
I forgot what I want to say now.
Talking about the ones that bought the house.
Yeah. So my thing is, so I believe in random acts of kindness.
Of course.
But my thing is,
And that's what this is.
and that's what I tell. But like, I do a lot of volunteer work you'll never know because I don't want to take pictures and embarrass the people I'm supporting. It's like if I know someone who needed money, why am I going to boast about helping you? Because I'm embarrassing you. I'm honoring you by protecting your dignity by helping you. And a lot of people don't understand. Everybody wants that instant gratification.
Oh yeah.
And I think we miss out on a lot of that. And listen, I'm not perfect. I can't say I'm a good guy. That's for people to determine. And like I said before, as kind of a person I strive to be, I'm always going to be someone's monster. Because even
Pretty much.
so, people can need your help, and you try to help them, and they don't want it, and they see you as a problem. And at the end of the day, you gotta be comfortable being a monster to people. You know,
That's the part that hurts.
but that's one thing I learned about my whole life about playing sports. That's why I do everything I do. That's why I write my books. That's why I try to encourage people. Listen, that's why I say good morning to people when I walk past them. Because guess what? Good morning is like a hug without a hug.
It's a verbal hug.
Yeah, but the thing is, I know a lot. People are going to do so much things now, especially since the pandemic, is where in broken families, broken homes, and the structures that we live in is support broken families, broken homes.
It's designed that way.
It is. So, at the end of the day, it's like if you don't, you need to show love to one another. I don't care if you're not sure if the person's going to accept it or not. Give them the opportunity to say no. You know, and that's where I stand with that. You know.
So now, you're doing the entrepreneurial thing, you're getting it in, you're turning a lot of interest, you're making them, all these people, love you, respect you, and all of that great stuff, even though you've went through, certain things as well. My next question to you is you being the entrepreneur that you are, what made you want to get into, children's books? Because you have your children's line of books. What made you want to be an author?
Well, when I played pro ball, especially in Canada, I used to go to. When I played pro, period, I go to libraries, and one thing I noticed when I was in a children's section, regardless of the language, the image told the stories.
I agree.
So when I was in Canada, at one point they saw this tall guy walk in at these small little tables, a kid table. I would sit there literally I would grab 7 books and start reading or just learn like Quebecois. And these kids would come and help me, and it kind of motivated me because I come from a storytelling family, and telling stories was one of the things. Like, it's nothing better than a good story. And then
wait, so you be the only 6'6", 6'7" dude sitting at a kid's table? Yo, no, that's dope though.
That's too many sixes. No. So he's a 6'6", 6'7". You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I said, well, I don't mean that in no. I mean, you're mad tall. Like,
there's still too many sixes though. I'm saying. So, but my thing is, I enjoy telling stories, and I understand how important stories are, especially with my youngest son. Him being 5, he loves stories. And it just motivated me. And what's a better way to leave a legacy of like stories that your kids and other kids can enjoy? Wow. So my first book is called Martians, Trees, and 1, 2, 3s. It's a simple book that teaches kids how to count from 1 to 10.
Now, what made you want to come up with that? Because it's actually a teaching point as well.
Actually, my first few books was, I can't tell the title because they're not copywritten yet, but I actually had 4 of the titles before that. And I said, let me do something that's fun and repetitive. Because when I hear if you listen to music or certain rap lyrics, what's catchy is anything that sounds like a lullaby is catchy. Yeah. So Martians, Trees, and 1, 2, 3s is a simple story, but you can turn into a song as well.
It's funny because even when you say that title, it's catchy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So we have a series. We have about almost 30 different titles for the Martians, but at the end of the day, the Martians, Trees, and 1, 2, 3s is one of 30 books that will eventually help kids understand how to regulate their emotions and feelings. So they'll be able to identify colors with feelings. Or certain degrees of thoughts. So
you're helping their mental growth.
Yeah. My books, even though my books seem very simple and friendly, once you understand the meaning of it, you'll have more of a desire to read to your kids because it can open up a healthy dialogue between you and your kids.
I'm glad you said that because a lot of parents these days are not doing it. Now, I'm not going to say it's because they don't want to, but right.
No.
Right, or maybe they do, but maybe it's their work schedule or something they're dealing with. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
I think a lot of parenting is you're not taught how to be a parent. A lot of parents are you're just thrown into fire. Yes. And I'm fortunate where I was raised out of trauma and pain, but then working in the mental health field, I see things from a different perspective. And I can understand where everyone comes from. I'm not saying that I agree with their thoughts or how they do things, but I can understand where they come from. And so you want to create stories that open certain conversations, or a comfort, or just connection, period. Because some parents lack connection, because some parents don't know how to be intimate. When I say intimate, I'm talking about be close to their kids, because they never experienced it.
It was always slave ass whoopings.
Yeah, but there's some parents who don't hug their kids because they never receive hugs, and hugs are awkward. But hugs are mandatory. Yeah. Like, you need a certain amount of hugs a day just to thrive, because it brings a certain peace in you. And but I wrote my children's book because I understand words impact frequencies. Right. Because words are sounds, just like your name. Your name's a sound, which is a frequency. Right. So when anybody read my story, I hope that when they read the story to the kids, that when they impart it into the kids, that it increase their life in some way.
Of course.
Positively, of course.
Of course. So what you have in the book, well, the line of books, you being able to continue to project your message, especially to the kids. You're opening up you're expanding their minds, their level of thinking. What type of gratitude do you think that has for you, knowing that they're being able to feed off and learn from you? You being in the position that you are, being able to not only help people, but help kids, and things of that nature, because, you have a reputation of really helping the community, and especially the youth, and with you being able to now put it in the form of stories for the kids to be able to pick up and to learn, how are you able to do that?
Well, let me say, first, helping the community, I never did it to the point where to be seen. So now, when I do my children's books, now I'm being seen, so it's a little more different for me. Because I would never, I feel like the help I offer people is never to be forced upon people. But at the same time, it's not to be boasted in front, like I helped this person, that person. So my children's book's a little different, because now it's like you have people saying, my kids love your stories. Like, especially you have kids who are like 2-3 years old who can't say Martians, trees, and 1, 2, 3s. I have kids saying Martians, cheese, and 1, 2, 3s. You know what I'm saying? But the point is they're excited to tell these stories. They're excited to even mention the name, your book's name, your title. So, and like the songs and everything else, and which I'll be posting more on my YouTube channel. Like, kids actually love the stories, and that's what it's meant to be. And it's meant to be repetitive, so kids can learn. Now you mentioned your YouTube channel. Yeah. Where can they find you? So Papa Quill Stories is PAPAQUIL. Can they see your shirt? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you can see that. What's the belly? Oh, please do. They definitely need to see the shirt. Can you turn around just a little bit further so they can see it? Yeah. So Papa Quill Stories, you can't miss the logo. Pretty much we're on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and our YouTube channels as well as Papa Quill Stories, no space. And we do affirmation for children. Well, we're gonna have it right there, anyways. Okay, we do affirmation for children as well. Storybook reading times, and as well as anything that can be motivational for any kid and parent. Because at the end of the day, the bond between parent and child is extremely important. So, question. So, you're saying that you do actually, like, online, you do storytelling online? So, I'm actually starting to post more of my stories online, because my 5-year-old son loves telling the stories. So, the arrangement we have with my youngest son, that he tells one story when he's with me. He tells one story, and I tell 2 stories. His stories are pretty short, but I use them. That's deep, man. But the thing is, my affirmation, if you go to Papa Quill Stories on YouTube, my son has 2 affirmations that he repeats with me. There's one called what I am is one, and another one is be the best you is another affirmation. And I ain't gonna lie, I listen to it every morning, because these are moments I make with my son. Yeah. And my thing is, the goal is to make this a legacy for both of my boys. It's not really about me. And when my time's up here and my boys and I'm gone, I want to have something that my boys and their kids could like say, this is my granddad, this is your this is my father, who want to impart, share some wisdom or some kind words or whatever into their lives. And is a one way to make sure that the thing you want to do, the help you want to provide, is never lost or gone.
Well, see, all you guys out there, y'all better understand. Y'all need to understand something. Take a look at this logo right here. This logo is serious. Now, mind you, this is him. This is Q. Okay? Make sure that y'all continue to read to your kids. Take a moment, take a minute, even if it's just a quick minute, read to your kids and make sure that y'all get his book, because that's what matters. That's what matters, and can you please let, our readers and viewers know, your website and everything like that?
So we have our books available on Amazon as well. So if you go under my name, you could put Quillinus Randall. It's QUILNINIOUS, last name Randall, RANDALL, and my books will come up. So we have Martians, Trees, and 1, 2, 3s, and I Like Cake, and we have another 4 books that will be available within the next 30 days as well. So that's one of the best ways, because most people feel comfortable purchasing from Amazon, so why not,
Well, what's crazy? The beautiful thing is, and I'm sure all you guys know too, we are in the season of giving. And when I say that, I don't mean just buying or anything of that. I'm talking giving your kids something. So yes, you have the toys, you have the this, you have the that. Make sure you give them this. Give them that. Papa Quill. That's what it's about. Real talk, man. And my last question to you is where do you see yourself in 2 to 5 years continuing to educate these kids through your line of books?
So my thing, it goes beyond my books. My books is a starting point to do storytelling sessions, workshop, art therapy, music therapy, so forth. But also to continue being a therapeutic mentor, to do sports fitness program, to teach life skills through sports and sports training.
Because you definitely do sports training.
Yeah, like ex-pro athletes. So for me, I believe that all your skills will open doors for you if you allow them to. And everything's meant to help people if your focus is to empower and inform.
Right.
So that's
You're definitely about that.
Yeah, so for me, it's like I see my 3 to 5 years, even beyond that, those are the areas I want to be. And eventually, once that picks up, which it will pick up, I want to start investing more into like programs that really help kids on a basic level as far as being more productive citizens. Like, I feel like kids should understand. You have a lot of kids who don't understand how to do their taxes. There's certain things that our kids should know how to learn. Should know, excuse me. And I feel like we're failing our kids, not preparing for life, because the things we've been through and the things we experience, our kids are going to experience something completely different, because things have changed so much where, they have robots and AI and everything else. So now it's a point where, are we preparing our kids for what we experience or what they're about to experience? And that's the big difference I've been thinking about.
That's deep. You just said that.
Yeah. So,
well, I'm glad you are definitely in tune, especially not only into entrepreneurship, but also into the youth, because it's people like you that help to honestly make the world a better place. You know what I mean? Like, let's keep it 2023%. Like, what you do is touching a lot of people's lives. Like, doesn't it make you feel good when you see people that, was in your camps, that read your books, and they, you see them years later and they're like, oh, cute. Like, how does that make you feel?
What makes me happy? It's seeing random acts of kindness and consideration towards other people. Like, I don't care if it's holding the door for somebody, saying good morning, saying, you look great today, or I hope you have a great. It's the small things that make sense that really helps out, because the reality is everyone's going through something. Some people hide it more than others. And some people are moments away, like a few moments away of like ending their existence. So the last thing I want to be is a person that pushes you to end your life because of a negative experience. So if I can add some type of positive experience in your life to make you feel better and understand you're worth fighting for, or worth living to see another day, I want to encourage you, because in the day, like, I'll be honest with you, sometimes the person that you admire today, they didn't feel that way a few months ago.
That makes sense that you said that.
Yeah, and they could at any moment, you could be the greatest thing in the world or the worst thing in the world to somebody. And I say this because the person you admire today, they could have been down and discouraged months ago and almost didn't make it. Right. And almost thought about some thoughts that weren't productive, right, that would end their existence. But they connected with their gifts, talents, and ability, or connected with the right person that kind of made them more aware, and they didn't do it. So my thing is, to those people who consider themselves decent and good-hearted people, I know the world's crazy out here right now. People, it's hard to have a heart and show it, but I encourage you to be brave and show your heart, because people don't know that some people feel like good people don't exist, and they're all around you. But the thing is, society, the way society is, and the way people take advantage of good people, they hide themselves. And
That's very true.
If good people are needed, it's more now than any time before. So take that chance.
You said it, man. You know, y'all better understand who this man is, man. This is Q Randall. Understand it, man. Woo! Go check him out. Once again, please let everybody know where they can find you one last time, man. So, you know, make it do what it do.
Yeah, Papa Quill Stories on TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And once again, you'll find me on Amazon. Just to look under my name, Quinn is Randall. That's how you can find me. And Papa Quill Stories, not hard to find. PAPAQUIL STORIES. Papa Quill Stories.
There you go. And that's what it is, man. Dime Magazine. That's what we about, man. It's about the kids. Wu-tanging. The kids. Understand it. Dime Magazine, man. We're hanging with your boy, our family, our brother, Q Randall. Check him out. It's already been said. Now it's time for y'all to get it done. Go check his website out. Go check his social media out. Y'all continue to do what y'all do and represent and show love to this man. Why? Because your kids are involved. Dime Magazine, we out of here, baby. Peace.